My name is Paul Campbell, and I am going to continue to read Message to the Millennials by Brother Rizza Islam. Chapter 7. Television. Control over the masses. Isn't it interesting how we've been watching television for years, decades, almost a century, and we still believe that it is only for our entertainment? We literally watch this machine that went from having less than 10 channels to well over 1,000. There was a program on every single hour of every single day on virtually any and every topic that can occupy a person's brain year round, but it is sincerely and truly for our benefit as a people, or it is for the manipulation of the masses. Have you ever watched something and felt dumber after watching it? Well, then again, have you ever watched something and felt more intelligent after having done so? Both are absolutely possible. However, for the simple overall understanding of the purpose of the television, what is its actual purpose? Why is it almost mandatory that we have one in our homes? And what true benefit does it give us? Even though we can now attach all the benefit, we can attach all of our apps to the TV screen. We can attach Netflix, we can attach YouTube, we can attach all the different programs. So now it's more so a hybrid of internet and television. But for the majority of those watching, they are not watching to be mentally stimulated in an educational manner. They are watching to be entertained in their way of describing it. But it is more of a programming mechanism than anything else. And many of us really don't believe this because it has become so subtle and that we are not truly aware of it in our daily lives. But if you stop for a minute and think about what you watch and then notice the change in your behavior, look at how we operate because before we watch what we watch, and then look at how our behavior after we watch what we watch. Look at how fast we can think, and do think before we watch what we watch. Then look at the speed of our intelligence and how we think after we watch what we watch. Has it increased? Has it diminished? Has it improved? Has it lessened? These are things we have to truly and sincerely take note of. What is a television? Television is a system for transmitting visual images and sound that are reproduced on screens. They are generally used to broadcast programs for entertainment, information, and supposedly education. Virtually everywhere you went, there was a television, starting from within your home to then in your car, even at the laundromat, the hospital, restaurants, and airports, and even on the airplane. Television's virtually everywhere programming us every day, all day. The base word in television is televise. It comes from the root tele, which is Greek, means far off, and vision, which is something in the imagination or of course perceived through the eyes. So what does a Latin root of seeing something that is far off? If you break the word down into television, you see, of course, television, programming. Think about it. Television, programming the mainstream media, specifically the news tells us lies visually to program us. This is not no conspiracy theory. This is only fact. We should all know this by now if we do not already. For people who are outside the United States are absolutely aware of this, and they even make mockery and make fun of the fact that those within America don't even know how much garbage is in their own television within the United States. They laugh when they see that we believe stories we hear on television. They laugh when they see us regurgitate the nonsense that comes from off the damn TV screen from news reporters who are reporting lies in their teleprompters that are typed up for them. Then we take it and run with it, and it controls our behavior. It has become well known that the media is absolutely bought and paid for and concentrated and owned by six major corporations. This is why alternative news media is best to watch and to listen to podcasts, independent social news media outlets who obtained their news from independent journalists and independent researchers who actually go out and get the information themselves from those sources rather than trying to sift through the millions of articles on Google. Here, the mainstream news that is being pushed is controlled for the benefit of major corporations, including pharmaceuticals, oil companies, and much, much more. For example, News Corporation, which is owned by Keith Rupert Murdoch, owns Fox News, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Post. General Electric, one of the top United States military contractors for the United States government. In addition, he owns Comcast, one of America's largest cable providers, which are running the subsidiary NBC network. Disney owns ABC and ESPN. CNN, TNT, and Time magazines are owned by Time Warner. Of course, CBS Corporation owns CBS News, along with Viacom, who owns Comedy Central, among many others, including BET, which begs the question, how is black entertainment television really geared towards the benefit of black people when it is not owned by black people? The major purpose behind all these media outlets being controlled the way that they are is for profit, ultimately for profit. It is not for the benefit of the masses. It is not to educate the masses. It is not to push the true information to inform the people of what is going on so that they may be prepared for things that they may be aware of. What is to take place of that they can be ready and so that they can live their lives better is to completely manipulate the way the people move. The beauty of all this is that social media has given an avenue by which we do not have to rely on listening to loud mouthpieces of corporations or what we would call news anchors and broadcasters for us to have a source of information. We can obtain the information and gain the truth for ourselves. That is precisely what we should do. Just know and understand that the purpose for television and movies, for that matter, originally were not simply for entertainment all the way up to today. It is not, I repeat, simply for entertainment. It is a fixation of emotional sequences, not logical, factual sequences. They are pushing points across any emotive sequences and emotional waves into the mind. Emotional content is very important rather than going through a discussion to gain logic and facts. But when you are watching a movie, you are as simply being downloaded into without having any type of consent as you would if you were in a debate or a discussion with someone. When you are watching something, your mental guard has been brought down. The censor part of your brain is not in action. It isn't saying, yes, I agree with I agree with this. I disagree with that. Not directly. You're actually in a alpha state being completely downloaded into with new ideas and socially engineered to carry out preset commands below your awareness. It is truly something that we have to analyze and look at ourselves and know that this is really going on. They have constantly used television for political motives, definitely something that they attempted to hide. But think about this all the way back in Nazi Germany, before Adolf Hitler carried out the killings of in the concentration camps. Remember, they had something called the killing films that they played in the over 5,000 theaters throughout Germany. And in these films, they would portray the people who they referred to as Jews as feeble-minded, mentally retarded, damaged, and they said that they were unworthy of living. But they were living in a mental prison and a mental jail. And the best way to help them is to put them out of their misery. They had pictures of them, videos of them, looking emotionally depressed, completely sad, unhappy, and wanting to simply end their lives. But they did not know how to do it. This is the evil and wickedness that they were pushing through film and media. So the people all throughout Germany who are watching these films were mentally programmed and influenced and desensitized so that by the time these killings were taking place, the people did not really question because they sincerely believed, a portion of them, that these people wanted to die, and that is the power behind media and its ability to control the senses and dull the logic cloud, the intelligence. It is very dangerous, and they have been doing it for decades. The same thing when you see them portray black women as prostitutes, crackheads, and drug users, and portray black men as thugs, pimps, murderers, women beaters, lowlives, or no good criminals. It is all a part of the mental manipulation, the mass programming, the mass introduction into a mental framework and overall mentality where you will see certain people and you will mentally group them in a category, and the majority of the time you do it, and we do it unwittingly. We are simply carrying out what it was that we were programmed to carry out. Brother Malcolm X stated that if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Hence why you see with all the mass shootings that have occurred recently with all these Caucasian males who have been conducting mass shootings for decades and really centuries. In the United States, the news media and its complete control over the masses attempt to push this belief and this false idea that it is black men who should be feared when it is the complete opposite. According to the FBI director Christopher A. Wray, it is the average Caucasian male who is on their number one domestic terrorism list due to the amount of shootings and hate crimes that have occurred. It is not black men, but what is very, very, very interesting is that there was an article in Newsweek which came up on August 8th of 2019 at 4:41 p.m. by Benjamin Fearnow, stating that now black identity extremists are deemed to be worse than Al Qaeda and white supremacists. Now, if this does not demonstrate a high level of insanity and an overwhelmingly profound level of denial, I don't know what does. There is no such thing as a black identity extremist. There is no such group called black identity extremist. There is no such thing as groups of black people going around committing mass murder of white, black, brown, and red people across this country. There is no group that is black and that is completely racially motivated to go and kill all white people. Yet in Newsweek, they state that so-called black identity extremists are worse than Al Qaeda. and white supremacists. Interesting. Well, who was Al Qaeda? Supposedly a terrorist organization founded under Ayman Muhammad al-Zawahiri, who America says carried out the bombing of the World Trade Center on 9/11, which was absolutely found to be a complete and total lie. What is absolutely interesting to say, the least, is that Al Qaeda is the same group that the United States of America contracted with to fight against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan to push them out of Afghanistan. This was admitted by Hillary Clinton in April of 2009 when she was the Secretary of State under President Barack Obama. She was testified before Congress stating that we also have a history of kind of moving in and out of Pakistan. I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago, and we did it because we were locked in this struggle with the Soviet Union. They invaded Afghanistan and did not want to see them control Central Asia. And we went to work, and it was President Reagan in partnership with the Congress led by Democrats who said, you know what sounds like a pretty good idea? Let's deal with the ISI and the Pakistan military, and let's go recruit these Mujahideen. That's great. Let's get some to come from Saudi Arabia and other places importing their Wahhabi brand of Islam so that we can go beat the Soviet Union. And guess what? They retreated. They lost billions of dollars, and it led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So there's a very strong argument, which is it wasn't a bad investment. So I find it extremely interesting how such a robustly asinine statement could be made about Black lives, about Black identity extremists saying they are as bad as Al Qaeda, when there is no such thing as a Black identity extremist. In addition, Al Qaeda is the CIA, seeing how Osama bin Laden is who America was working with as it pertained to Afghanistan and the Soviet Union. American worked with him and the Taliban, and then later tried to paint him as a boogeyman, saying that he and Al Qaeda were the architects of 9/11 and the bombings of the World Trade Center, which is a complete lie. And the people are waking up to this fact. It was said that his code name as a contracted operative with the CIA was Tim Osman. And with 3,000 plus lives lost from that bombing and the Patriot Act being brought into activity following, as well as a complete and total declaration of war against an entire religion practiced by over 1.6 billion people on the planet called Islam. America still has the gall to lie and up to this day point at the Black man as being public enemy number one, when they continue to show that the Caucasian male has always caused the most harm to the most number of people in every nation on this planet. It truly is insanity. A white man goes into a movie theater and shoots well over 20 people. Yep, they point at the Black man. Another white boy goes into a church and kills 9 people. They give him a burger and walk him out with a bulletproof vest and then turn and point at the Black man. White man goes into a Walmart and shoots and kills multiple people. Yep, you guessed it. They point the finger at a Black man. Another white man goes to a hotel in Las Vegas, aims down at a concert, shoots and kills and harms multiple people. Yet they still find a way to talk about the black man. They even attempt to use the age old false equivalent example of Chicago pointing at something that they call black on black crime when there is no such thing. It is simply something called proximity killings, meaning you murder within the environment or the area of which you live. Yeah, you never hear them say Chinese on Chinese killing or Indian on Indian killing. What about Mexican on Mexican killings? Or how about Japanese on Japanese killing? Or hell, even white on white killing? They only say that because they continue to use it as a yardstick and a justification to continue to carry out their racist white supremacist murdering of us wholesale, even when it is playing and in front of their faces. Across the entire planet, the whole world witnesses what is being done. Yep, the government continues to point at the number one victim of their wickedness, which is the black male. Of course, black people must stop killing black people. Okay, and that, of course, is something that is being improved upon. Our condition, our condition, our condition is becoming slightly better because we are making it that way. But our harming of one another is in no way a justification for others to come in and harm us, even though they do and it. All must stop. Take your eyes off the television and get to know the people around you within your immediate environment. We used to go outside more. We used to know everyone that lived on our block. We didn't have to lock our doors because everyone knew everyone and we trusted everyone on the block. The only thing that we did was we made sure that children were inside by the time the street lights came on. Other than that, we were fami- familial. We were together. We worked together. We even policed and secured the block together because everybody was an honorary community watch person. Whether if it was our grandmother who peeked out of the blinds or our father who stayed on the porch. We made sure our environment was safe. Okay? So we have to get back to that. Sometimes we need to put down the phone and turn off the television so that we can reestablish truth among ourselves, our family, and our community. By reestablishing the truth, we can then find the love. And as we find the love, we can build trust among one another. Then this government will no longer have control over us, and our minds will be our own. That is chapter 7.